So we just drove down Yacht Club Drive, and it's just a bizarre place to come to the Salton Sea because you never know like what was there, if it was established before. There's paved roads coming down to what was Yacht Club Drive, but where I am there's no structures, so who knows if this yacht club was even ever built. But welcome to the Salton Sea. Our plan was to make it to Anza Borrego yesterday, but that did not happen. We got distracted by the gorgeous moon coming down on the Salton Sea, and then we saw there was free camping at an old RV site. Today we're just gonna mosey around, see what we can find at the Salton Sea. There's a couple paragliders down there, so I want to see if they take off, because that's one of those sports that Wiley and I have been talking about for a while to look into. Looks really cool.
We're gonna add that to the list of things to learn how to do in the future.
At some point. That and kite surfing. Kite surfing has been on my list for years.
So we are at the Salton Sea, which looks pretty nice, but there's a huge story behind it. It was one of California's biggest failed experiments. They tried to make this a much larger man-made lake and turn it into a resorty area where people could come and vacation and have some fun and golf and you name it, RV resorts, marinas, everything. So the idea was they were going to divert water from the Colorado River, and they already were doing that for farming, to irrigate, because it's really more or less a desert in the surrounding areas. And the idea was to direct the water from the farms after they've used it into the lake, and that actually did a really good job of filling it up. However, it did a better job of polluting it, and unfortunately the lake now is so toxic that birds and fish can't even live in it. There's dead bird and fish carcasses all along the shore, and you can't swim in it, and it's extremely acidic, so you get the point. Big failed experiment. Now it's kind of mostly abandoned along the shores. People still do live here, but not the vacation destination that they envisioned. So we just got into Anza Borrego State Park in California, and our plan was to hike the Borrego Palm Canyon Trail today, which is only a 3-mile trail. However,
so we knew that we couldn't take the dog because of the wildlife, which I totally understand. That makes complete sense. Dogs tend to scare off all the wildlife.
And what are they protecting?
But they're protecting the bighorn sheep. However, there's a new law in California, you can't even leave your dog in your vehicle. So Vanlifers beware, because you can regulate the temperature of your vehicle. That's still not allowed. So they wouldn't even let us into the trailhead because they knew we had a dog in a vehicle. So our plans have changed a bit. We had to park over by the visitor center. You can take the dog on a trail between the visitor center because it's paved. So Maisha's taking a walk with us right now over to the campground, but that's the only place that the dog's allowed. And then basically one of us is going to have to stay in the van, and the other one of us is going to go do the hike.
I'm going to go back and hang out with Maisha and chill in the van while Dre goes and knocks the hike down, because she's the die-hard hiker between the two of us, so I always give her dibs on that kind of stuff. But the reason behind all that new legislation, or at least what happens with it, is it allows someone to legally break into your car if they believe there's a dog inside. That doesn't sound like fun. We don't want anyone breaking into our stuff.
So the Palm Canyon Trail is only 3 miles round trip, but because I'm starting from the visitor center, it's 1.3 miles just to get to the trailhead. So I'm almost doubling the mileage just to get over here because we weren't able to park here because of Maisha. So all in all, it'll be a little under 6 mile hike. Obviously, half of it's just flat and paved trail, and
wash walk, but the goal is, and the reason why I didn't pass this up is because all the out west traveling we've been doing so far, I've really wanted to see some bighorn sheep, and everywhere we've gone we haven't seen any, so I'm hoping that I get lucky and we'll be able to see some today, so wish me luck. Ocotillo are in bloom. You can see the red flowers on the top. They're actually not cactus, we learned. They are considered desert weeds, but when they bloom, they're really pretty. So this is a really easy trail. I would put it easy to maybe moderate, but you're basically walking through the canyon, through the wash of the canyon, and then you have these really steep canyon walls on both sides of you. I just passed where the water is, so maybe I will be lucky enough to see an animal drinking or something. I hope. I keep on looking up on these massive canyon walls to see if I can see anything, but so far I've seen nothing. I'm sure they blend in really well, but I'm going to continue this search, this wildlife quest to find these bighorn sheep. I hope I'm lucky enough. There's a waterfall back there. It just seems so bizarre that there's all these palms in the middle of the canyon, this rocky canyon. It's beautiful. This ended up being such a cool little hike. I highly recommend it if you're in the area. It's definitely worth it to do this canyon oasis hike. This trail is an out and back. I'm making it into a loop. They do have an alternate that you can take. So I took the main trail on the way out, and then the alternate. The alternate is a little bit higher up, and it's not in the wash like the main trail is. So it gives you a little bit of a bird's eye view, but you're not too high up. But just hoping, because I haven't seen anyone on the alternate, maybe I'll run into some wildlife. We'll see. These are the beaver tail cactus, and I think these are my favorite because they don't have prickies and they're cute like beaver tails. This would have been a really cool hike for Wiley to come to, and I really enjoyed it. It's unfortunate that sometimes things don't work out that way. You definitely have to make some compromises when you bring a pup along with you. I mean, overall, it's totally worth it, and I'm so glad that our whole family is traveling together. But damn, this would have been a good one. He really would have liked this hike, and one of us had to stay back because of the pepperoni. So I told Wiley to move the van so that we're facing out so it's easier to leave. And now we are currently in this situation. We are stuck in the sand and he is not too happy with me. and we don't have max tracks, and there's no one around. So hopefully this works out. So the brainstorm is to use the tops of the Rubbermaid bins and the Thermarest sleeping pad. Hopefully this will work. I have no idea if it will. Oh, you're spinning. Fuck. We weren't successful. It is pitch black out. Really pretty skyscape, but we are stuck. So I'm gonna cook dinner for the night. We are gonna get up in the morning when we have daylight, air down the tires. I don't know why we didn't think about that before. And continue to try and get ourselves out of the sand. I really don't want to spend several $100s to get a tow truck out here. I mean, we're only like 4 or 5 miles from town, so luckily we're not in the middle of nowhere and got stuck. But we are gonna try everything to get ourselves out, and hopefully we don't make it worse. So to be continued tomorrow morning. We're both not too excited right now, so we're just gonna end this here and we will resume in the morning. So it's the next morning, and today we're gonna get out of here. That's the goal. It's supposed to rain in the afternoon, so we gotta get out of here before the rain. We are airing down the tires. I don't know why we didn't think about it yesterday, but that'll give us a little bit more traction, and using anything we have in the van in order to try and get out of here. We're in pretty deep right now.
We were about an inch away from the differential being buried in the sand, so we got about as deep as we were gonna get without needing some help. So our sticky situation is now unstuck, which is a good thing. Rule number 1, if you're gonna drive on sand, air down your tires. I forgot to do that. I don't think I would have got stuck, but we decided to rearrange where we were parked and turn the van around, and don't do that on sand.
And I'd like to give a shout out to Deuce of Spades, because they dug us out of the sand we were stuck in. It's not just a poop scooper.
So we're just outside of Borrego Springs, and there is an artist here who has taken the time to sculpt over 100 metal sculptures like what you see behind me. So it's extremely close to town. It's right inside or just on the edge of Anza Borrego State Park. So if you're here, it's worth checking out.
Yeah, I can't imagine how many hours of work went into just one of these. It's massive. It's over, 10 feet tall and probably 10 feet wide, the scorpion.
It's huge.
It's impressive. So he even put stones in the middle of the necklace to make it look like jewels. And the detail on this must have taken forever to do this. And the earrings, the eyelashes. I just want to know how much time it spent to do one of these sculptures, and there's hundreds. Yeah, so the serpent behind us is definitely the highlight. It goes across the road. The artists that worked on this, when you get out and look at the sculptures, it's so impressive the amount of detail that he put into it. I cannot imagine how much time he spent
on just one of these sculptures, and there's over 100.
It's crazy. Eyelashes, eyeballs, veins, muscles, like he was taking his sweet time when he welded these together.